So Texas, right?
Texas, yep.
You from there or no?
I am not. I'm from where Kip's from. I'm from Baltimore, Maryland, and then I moved out here. Been out here for probably about almost a decade now. I was in Dallas for like 7 years, and I've been in Austin for about 4 years. So kind of Texas has been home for probably a more consistent time in my life than anywhere else. But I kind of moved all over the place when I was playing professionally. But kind of moved all over
I'm
the place
I'm
on that.
leaving that, by the way.
I don't know what happened there.
We're not cutting that out, baby.
I love it. Um, But yeah, kind of Texas has been home for kind of over a decade, and I moved away for a little bit, and came back. So yeah,
You got a pretty good gig right now. Is that the dream job?
um, it is the dream job. I've been, after playing, kind of the next segue is coaching. So I kind of been coaching my entire life. I've had a company since I've graduated college, just kind of traveling the country training kids, and I've been doing that for since 2009. And I'll always have that, but I've always looked into doing some other stuff. I don't know what else I want to do, but as of right now, that this is the dream job. This is kind of what I'm focused on, and yeah, it allows me to do a lot of the stuff I like to do, like hunting. But yeah, University of Texas and coaching here and being in Texas is it's not a bad lifestyle. So I'm really enjoying it.
No, not at all. I'm a baseball guy myself, but I have faith that you and I will figure this out together.
Are you? Who's your team?
I'm an Angels fan originally. I'm from Michigan, though. I do like the Tigers, but growing up, my dad and I, we went to California a lot. I was a Vladimir Guerrero fan, so I kind of just rolled with those guys ever since, and we're terrible now, but is what it is.
Yeah, I lived out in LA for a short stint. I went to a couple Dodgers games, but I'm not a huge baseball fan. I mean, the Orioles aren't very good, but I am a huge Ravens fan, so I'm always watching the Ravens games on the weekends. Big NFL guy, so
Brother, you are in the right place. Back-to-back Ravens fans. This
yeah,
is truly an honor. I am as diehard as it gets, man.
good, good.
Yeah, yeah. Did you watch the game last weekend?
Yeah, I did. It was awesome. Commanders came
Yeah.
back a little bit, but Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson are kind of, I think they're the best running back quarterback tandem maybe ever. Obviously, I'm
Agreed.
biased, I'm a Ravens fan, but they're both 1 and 2 in yards per carry. So
Yep.
it's pretty crazy to have a quarterback and a running back on the same exact team being 1 and 2 in yards per carry. So it just opens him up a lot, right? Derrick Henry is just a huge human being, and you got to stack the box and prepare to get everybody in to not let him get downhill because once he gets past that first level, your cornerbacks aren't stopping him. He's if he gets past the first level, he's getting the first down. So then it opens up Lamar on the play action, whether he keeps it or gives it to him. So it's only going to get more dangerous, I think, as the season goes.
I agree. I was watching the game last weekend by myself, and as you know, being a fan, we have trouble closing out games,
Oh
right?
yeah,
And over the past 2 weeks, Henry's broke a big run to basically close the game out. And I'm sitting there by myself, and I just start smiling. I was like, he just wins this games. This is
yeah,
amazing. Just keep
yeah,
giving him the freaking ball. That's all we have to do.
yeah. I was kind
So
of
I'm
complaining
very, very pleased.
first half. I was kind of complaining they weren't giving the ball enough, and I was like, why are we not giving him the ball? But then second half, it kind of opened him up to carry the ball. So it goes to show
Yeah.
you how much I know about football.
Only a matter of time, brother. Do you do a lot of podcasts?
So in my playing career, did a lot of like lacrosse ones, and
Hmm.
then me and my buddy were running a podcast like sports betting for lacrosse, and then I kind of had to
Nice.
stop doing that because I took a job. I retired last year, and then I was asked by my team to coach the defense, so I kind of like went right back into it. And we're not allowed to gamble, so I kind of had to stop doing that. Not that I was gambling, I was just talking about it. It just doesn't look good. So I just didn't. We don't want to coach in a professional league talking about gambling on teams and people, they'll get the idea that I'm throwing games or whatever to win. So we don't want to do that.
I get it. No, I get it. Man, your lacrosse, I'll be honest, dude, I don't know a whole heck of a lot about lacrosse, but definitely willing to learn. I think it's interesting. I feel like it would be a lot of fun. To me, it seems very similar to hockey. Obviously, you're not skating. I like the physicality of it for sure. But your career, you sent me a little bio, man. Unbelievable. Two-time Natty champ, first team All-American, 16 years in the league, retired last year, three-time Team USA indoor and outdoor member, first team All-Pro, seven-time All-Star, three-time professional champion. You have a gold medal yes, I'm pumping your tires, but that resume is incredible. Um, Talk to me because that doesn't just happen overnight, correct? Like that takes a lot of work, a lot of sacrifices growing up, trying to be the best that you can be. And then it also involves saying no a lot, I'm sure, in order to be an elite athlete like you were. Just talk to me about that process, trying to be the best that you can be in lacrosse and all the sacrifices you've had to make over the years of doing it.
Yeah, growing up, I was a big soccer player, and then I kind of went to a high school in Baltimore for soccer. My One of the guys I played with, his name was Santino Caranta. He was like one of the youngest players ever drafted in the MLS, the Major League Soccer League. Freddie Adu, I think, might have been maybe beat him by a year, but so I pretty much played soccer because my all my friends were playing it. And he was one of the best in the world, and I grew up with him, training with him, and his brother Mario. But I went there for that, and then the lacrosse coach was kind of recruiting football players and recruiting baseball players, pretty much every sport to play lacrosse. And then he kind of came up to a couple of us like, "Hey, have you ever played lacrosse?" No, I haven't. So I started playing lacrosse my ninth grade year of high school. And when I picked up the stick and I was playing it, I was like, "Holy shit, this is an awesome sport." It's got soccer, football, pretty much, you're allowed to hit people, swing your sticks, all that stuff. It was violent, running up and down the field, super fast pace. We call it here in America the fastest game on 2 feet, and it actually really is. Not really a lot of stoppage in play. It's constantly going unless the ball goes out of bounds. But kind of got into it there, and then kind of as I got closer to my senior year, it was something I was trying to like maybe play in college. But once you start in ninth grade, you're really behind the eight ball because kids play now. I mean, it's been America's fastest growing sport for like over a decade. It's even growing the fastest at the women's level and then the men's level. But you kind of have to like you don't have to play your entire life, but you need to get in at youth level, and it's kind of rare to have guys make it from high school, like just starting playing in high school, go play Division 1, Division 3. It's super difficult. You really got to work at it. One of the most important things we do is called wall ball. You're constantly just on the wall, work on your stick skills because it's a huge hand-eye coordination sport. Think of like baseball, but a little bit harder because your hands are further away from the glove. The stick's up here and your hands are down. So it's like it's really hard to catch the ball when you're first starting out. So playing wall ball, you get really used to that hand-eye coordination and catching the ball. So I kind of just lived on the wall every day. I would do an hour a day. I had a routine that I did, and that kind of got me the stick skills to get on a college team. And out of college, or out of high school, I wasn't recruited, and kind of went to community college, the same community college Kip went to. We both went to, it's called CCBC Essex Community College. They actually had a really good lacrosse program. I kind of knew nothing about it, and someone had contacted me. Hey, we have a lacrosse program, come out and play. Went out, and we were like one of the best teams we were the best team in the country. My freshman year, we were undefeated, 19-0, won a national championship. My sophomore year, we were undefeated, lost in the national championship in overtime, and then kind of went to Salisbury. And then every year of college, I played a national championship, lost 2 in overtime, won 2. But yeah, the work ethic part, I kind of built my work ethic in high school. Starting to lift weights in like my sophomore year, and kind of knew I wanted to play at the college level, and I was just a gym rat. I was like nonstop in the gym. When I got to community college, I met one of my best friends. His name is Dan Carmack. He's been a special forces operator since he was 24 years old. But he was one of the best athletes that I've ever played with and were around, but he's still serving today. I think he's my age. He's 39 years old. He's still in special forces. But he was the guy that kind of pushed me, and that's where I got my work ethic from, was pretty much him. I kind of attached myself to him. He was always at the track running. He's an absolute animal. He won every run, won every weightlifting thing. He was a super good football player in Virginia. That's where he's from. And, take him in the special forces. He always was winning every single race, ruck, whatever that was. He kind of just took that with him. The guy's just an absolute animal. And that's kind of where I got my work ethic from, and that kind of got instilled with me meeting him, and it's kind of never stopped. The last 16 years playing professional, you gotta stay in the weight room. We're not being paid millions of dollars like these NFL athletes and NBA. We're getting paid good money, but it's not enough to you got to have something else. That's why I had a job where I could do full-time lacrosse and training kids out year round and camps, clinics, summer camps, and club teams. That's why I started that company so I could do lacrosse full time on that. But yeah, to your point, it's you got to stay in the weight room because in college we're working out 5 days a week because you have to work out 5 days a week. Once you graduate, a lot of guys get jobs and you gotta if you don't have a work ethic, you're going to be in the pro league for I've seen it happen. Some of the best players are in the pro league. They have really good first year, 2 years, then you start to see this downward trend because they just stop lifting weights and they stop, you need to do speed and agility is the biggest component of our sport. And once you stop doing that, it's like you can just feel yourself slowing down. So the biggest thing is just staying in the weight room. And I'm glad I met, my buddy Dan and other people as well that kind of pushed me in the weight room. And, I just got back from the gym. It's still instilled in me to do it. I'm not playing a pro sport right now, but I'm always training. Now I'm training so I can just go on these hunting trips. But that's the kind of like that's my next, like, that's why I still train is I still have something to train for. Cause I think if I was sitting behind a desk from 9 to 5 and not doing it, if I didn't have hunting in my life, I don't know what it would look like I still would work out, but if hunting in the backcountry, you got to be in shape. So
Yeah, it's a good way to just stay competitive.
yeah,
Absolutely.
100%.
I'm sure a lot of your guys and kids that you coach will end up listening to this pod. In your opinion, what does it take to be a good teammate?
Selflessness. I mean, you got to be, the greater good of the team, not yourself. I think lacrosse, it's a good sport. You got to be a good teammate. If you're not a good teammate, you're going to get alienated and singled out pretty quick because we preach here at Texas, we ball, not me ball, because,
I like that.
there's 6 guys on offense. If you're the guy we call them ball taxis, they just like carry the ball, they dodge one guy. Like lacrosse is all about like dodging on offense, drawing a slide, someone's sliding to you, you beat your man, slides coming to you, and moving the ball. If you move the ball one more and move it again, you usually have something open. If you keep moving the rock, but yeah, we preach we ball, not me ball, because teams that I coach against, if they have like one dominant guy and the rest of the other guys aren't like as good as he is, we kind of just single in on that one guy and just kind of take him out of the game and make the other 5 players beat us. There are teams that do that. They want to get their guy the ball. And we kind of just, we have players on our team that are the guy, but we kind of use them as decoys to draw attention and then move the ball and get our teammates involved. So I think just selflessness, that's one that is the biggest one for me. You're always trying to make people around you better, and you really don't care about your accolades, you getting points, you putting the ball in the back of the net. If you're not worried about that stuff, you're just going to make everyone around you better. And I think selflessness and just making sure guys around you are performing and getting better and pushing them in the weight room and doing all that stuff. I was a captain at college and then also at the pro level, but just pushing guys in the weight room. Accountability, right? Keeping guys accountable. If they're not doing their lifts, if they're not doing that stuff, is, having those difficult conversations with them and be like, hey man, like get in the fucking gym, go do this shit. Like you're slacking. And they'll respect you more for it. So I think just accountability and selflessness, I think are 2 of the biggest ones that stick out for me. Discipline would probably be the other one, right? Just if there's a schedule, there's a weightlifting schedule, whatever that is, you're adhering to that. And you got to sacrifice, right? I mean, in high school and college and even at the pro level, like I can't tell you how many weddings and parties and bachelor parties I have missed because one of my biggest, like, not pet peeve, but when I was at the pro level, I kind of never missed for weddings. Like I even told my brother when he got married, I was like, I was not going to miss his wedding. Obviously, have your wedding when you want. I'm coming to that one. But I missed a lot of my good friends' weddings and bachelor parties and stuff to work out and play professional lacrosse, or in high school miss going to some parties on the weekends to go to the weight room and do that stuff. So yeah, you got to make sacrifices, but I think selflessness, accountability, and discipline are kind of the 3 words that stick out for me in that realm.
I don't know what the recruiting aspect in lacrosse looks like, but are you specifically looking for guys that carry those 3 traits, even if they're studs, but they don't maybe only carry 1 out of the 3? Are you just going to pass on that guy? Are you looking for a certain individual opposed to the player? Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, I think, you can learn a lot from coaches that coach those kids by asking them certain questions and just obviously talking to them on the phone, how they carry themselves on the phone. I mean, I know when I was in high school, I didn't have social media or a phone. I think kids communicating these days has become harder and harder to have like a conversation looking someone one-on-one in the face. We have a great group of kids at the University of Texas. We don't really have that issue, but some of these kids you talk to on the phone, you can kind of tell right away, like not shyness, but like they're not very outgoing. I don't know why that is. I'm assuming it has something to do with social media and cell phones. Yeah, I think we just want guys with good character. They're good people. A lot of these kids, these recruits, I have them send me a resume and I write letters of recommendation for them to get in the University of Texas. It's so hard to get in here. It's becoming like an Ivy League, Harvard. We have kids with like 4.2, 4.3 GPAs not get in. I don't know why, but you got to have like the highest test scores. The grades got to be very good. So we're getting really bright, smart kids in here. I could have never have done that. My grades were not good. That's why I had to go to community college for a year. I couldn't have went to Texas. Yeah, we're just looking for good character guys. I'll talk to them on the phone, and then I have them send me like a work resume. So they'll give me a resume from like what they're doing in high school, what their GPA is, that stuff, and then extracurricular activities. Like a lot of these guys, community service, they're running business clubs. Just the list of their extracurricular activities are pretty impressive. And once I see that, like every kid I've never gotten one where I've looked at it and been like, this kid's not going to cut it here. They all are very impressive, and you kind of have to be to come to a school like this. You can't be me with like a 2.8 GPA and get in here because I didn't have that stuff. So, no, I think just talking to kids on the phone, asking them questions about their family, what they're doing, what their hobbies are, you kind of can learn a lot from that. And then also when they send those resumes in, man, it's impressive to see what some of these kids are doing in high school and their GPAs. Some of these are like top 5 in the class, and those are pretty good individuals. But I haven't had any kids yet here via like a character issue or anything I've had to deal with, and I think that just goes through like the vetting process of just talking to them on the phone and kind of gathering information, talking to their parents, their coaches, because a lot of coaches are pretty honest with you. They won't lie and tell you a kid's like, yeah, this kid's the best kid in the world, and then when he gets here, he'll be like, hey, Johnny, he's not what you said he was. So never really ran into that, but yeah, just talking to kids and then getting feedback from their coaches and their parents, and you kind of learn a lot from that.
We'll put you on the spot here, but when was the last time you failed at something?
Ooh, last time I failed at something, I would say athletically, quarterfinals my last year playing professionally. We lost in the quarterfinals. That was a tough one. So I'd say from a team aspect, that was the last thing I failed in. Another thing probably would have to be hunting. I mean, I missed a couple whitetails last year here in Texas. So, bow hunting. It's people that, I don't know, a lot of people post their successes on Instagram. I'm not successful all the time. I usually have 1 or 2 a year. That's kind of scratch your head. But I would say bow hunting, that's probably one of my last failures is, having a successful hunt.
That's what keeps us coming back, though, especially with the bow hunting. I mean, if you went out every time and just got it done, probably wouldn't, well, maybe you would, but you probably wouldn't go out all the time. There's got to be some aspect of challenge to it. I feel like that's one of the main reasons why majority of us are out there, because it's challenging, it's difficult.
Yeah. And I think, obviously that's an example of failing, but I failed my entire life just, getting cut from teams and not getting accepted to the college I want to get accepted to, getting cut from club teams, Team USA, pro teams getting cut from pro teams. Like, that's a lot. I just think if you don't have those hardships and that, it kind of like remotivated me. Like year 14, I was cut from my professional team. And to tell you the truth, I was kind of getting like burnt out from lacrosse. And then when I got cut, it like lit a fire under my ass. And I was like, came back, and then I played the last 2 years of my career, and it was like the best 2 years of my career, just because like it just like, okay, these motherfuckers don't want me, and got in the weight room and got back to business. But I guess like I wouldn't say I got complacent, but just I was like the oldest guy in the league. I was kind of getting old, and like my workouts had changed because of like injuries, and so I kind of had to adapt to a different like workout routine, and I wasn't like working any less harder than I was, but I kind of had to adjust what I was doing, because I was actually getting hurt in workouts. I was working out with some NFL guys here in Texas, and I got injured a couple times in the workouts because I was trying to keep up with them, and it's just like I'm 36. I can't be keeping up with NFL guys. Like we had Jamar Chase in the weight room and all these other guys, and like I'm trying to like keep up with them, and I'm like these guys are 23 years old and they're just complete freak shows. But
Yes.
yeah, getting the workout with them, that was some epic failures in those. But yeah, I'd say the last thing probably failing at would be probably my last year playing, my last game ever playing professionally, losing in the quarterfinal game, and then obviously bow hunting. There's so many of those. So yeah, I'd say those would have to be it. Be specific would probably be an elk hunt in Colorado last year. I shot an elk and blood trail was so good and just never found it. So that would probably be my failure last year in Colorado for sure.
The failures or lessons learned or the no's, like Kip and I were talking about some stuff last week where it's kind of like yes, no, maybe. The yeses are great, the maybes we can work with, but the no's, especially for me, I love the no's, right? Like if I'm trying to get somebody on the pod or if I'm looking for a brand deal or whatever it might be, those to me are what keep me going. Those make me work harder. Those make me keep going and realize the fact that it's not easy,
No.
right? None of this shit is easy, regardless of what you're doing. And if you get yeses all the time, or even a couple maybes that turn into a yes, what are you going to learn?
Yeah.
That's what I've noticed while building a brand and a business and things of that. The no's and the failures, like getting cut from your team 16 years in or whatever it was, shit, that lit the fire again.
Yeah.
So who
For
knows
sure.
where we'd be without those no's?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've all the games I've lost, the big games that I've lost, the national championship games I've lost, the pro championship games I lost, they're the ones I remember. I can tell you exactly what I had to eat that day. Like I can tell you the entire day and then but like some of the championships are great. Like you win, but like I couldn't probably tell you what I did. Like I remember vividly why I lost, how we lost, and you kind of just it just kind of like again it just motivates the shit out of you to get back to that point. And you just remember I just for me that's what I always remember the losses for some reason. I don't dwell on them, but it's just like you got there, you didn't make it, you failed, and you got to work harder. You got to work harder because when you get back to that moment, you're not going to fail the next time. So yeah, for sure, I've had a lot more failures than I've had probably successes in my athletic career and hunting. But it just makes the victories that much sweeter for sure.
Yeah, I was filming an antelope hunt for a guy out here last weekend, and he missed a really good one, chip shot, 280 yards, and I was like, dude, that's hunting. Like it just happens.
Yeah,
I still have misses, like even with a rifle that just eat me alive.
yeah,
I remember those. I remember those way more than the perfect arrow, man. For
yeah.
whatever reason, it just keeps you coming back, no matter how confident you are, how much you've been practicing. Shit happens for whatever reason. It just happens. Those are the ones that keep you coming back, keep you working, keep you honest in a sense.
Yeah, for sure. I remember when I first started hunting, like when I would miss or fail or whatever, miss like a big whitetail in front of me, I would just think it was like the end of the world. I'd be like, "Oh my God, you are such a effing loser." And then like when you get back and like pass, you're like, "Ah, it's not that bad. There's always you're gonna have another opportunity at some point." But I would always my early in my hunting career and even in like sports, I think it's kind of like the same thing. It was just like, man, you are a freaking loser. This is the end of the world. Like your life is over. Like that would be the thoughts that I would have. But as I got older and grew up and matured, it was like it's not that bad. You learn from it. Does it suck? Yeah, it's absolutely horrible and gut wrenching when you miss like an animal in front of you or you lose a championship. They're kind of the same for me. So I think maybe sports failing kind of set me up for bow hunting to like kind of have a even keel mind on it and like not get too overwhelmed on the losses and stuff in that. So
They say time heals all wounds, but I just don't know about that in terms
yeah.
of hunting. It
I
always sucks.
remember. I still remember. I probably could tell you just like sports, like the losses, the championship losses. I remember those vividly. I can tell you exactly what I was doing that day, how I effed up, what I did wrong, and it's just you just remember that stuff. But I think it's good because it just makes you want to get the job done and not make those same mistakes. The second, it's the only way you're going to learn, especially like elk hunting and stuff like that, is being out in the woods and messing up. Like no one's a professional elk hunter, I don't think. I mean, some guys probably are that have been doing it for 20 years, but you know, I think you're still learning, right? Once you're done learning, I mean, you're just like, why even do it anymore? So it's always the woods are just too many variables. It's always changing, wind, all that stuff. So there's a lot of stuff that can F you up, and I feel like you're just constantly learning. And I think it's the same with athletics. It's everything's different. Each year's not the same, and you're always learning from past failures and tribulations and stuff like that. So it's yeah.
I like to say that once you stop learning or once you stop trying to improve, you just die.
Yeah.
Honestly. Like, what else is there?
Yeah. I mean, you can't be 100 if you were the best, if you knew it all, like whatever it is, elk hunting, whatever it is, if you knew it all, you should have a 100% success rate every time you go in the woods. So if you're not doing that, then if you are doing that, then maybe you're done learning. I don't know.
What do you feel like your life would have been like for you if you hadn't have gone for it? Whatever that means to you.
Man, I've never been asked that question. I grew up in Dundalk, Maryland. I don't know if you know what that is, where that is, but kind of like it wasn't the best area to grow up in. I mean, I think athletics. I went for athletics. Like I really went for athletics when I got introduced into sports. My dad introduced me to soccer. He was a really good soccer player growing up. But I think if it wasn't for sports and going after, like really buying in and like going in on all in on that shit, like I don't know. I mean, a lot of people that I know either got kind of like wrapped up in drugs and stuff like that, and kind of didn't went to high school, didn't go to college. I think I probably would have fell somewhere in there, been like nothing wrong with it. I think actually the trade jobs are actually coming back and they're making really good money. But I think I would have been like, a lot of my buddies were electrician, construction, and they're doing a lot of those guys, did really well for themselves. But I think I kind of would have fell into that mold, not going to college. But I think athletics really motivated me to be the best at what I did, whether that was soccer. And then when I got to high school for lacrosse was being the best. I wanted to be the best on the field. And, in lacrosse, I'm regarded as one of the best ever play the position. But like the reason I did that stuff and worked as hard as I possibly could have is because I wanted to be the best. I didn't want to be like the middle of the pack average. I wanted to be the best. And I think, working my ass off and going for it, like you said, your question is just, I think athletics, that was the one thing I went for that kind of molded me and kind of got me to where I am today. And I visited so many different like countries because of lacrosse. Went to Israel for like the World Games, Czech Republic, Prague. I go to Hawaii every year. I'm going to Hawaii next week, and I usually hunt Hawaii when I'm out there. I go on axis deer hunts, but lacrosse has just given me so much. Athletics has given me so much. Just going for it, and I don't think if I were to do that, I probably wouldn't be talking to you today. Not that I would be dead, but I definitely wouldn't be on this podcast.
Yeah. When was the last time you had to spot check yourself? And what I mean by that is knowing that you should be doing something, but you're just lacking in that area. And I'll give you time to think really quick, and I'll call myself out on some bullshit. I've been having the hardest time getting the fuck out of bed. Like a terrible time. I'm the guy that gets up at 5, jumps in the ice bath, goes right to the gym. I got more done by 7 a.m. than most people get done all day. And for whatever reason, man, the past week, I'm getting up at like 7, 8. Yesterday was like 9. I'm like, what is going on? Like snooze, 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 snooze. Like I coach a lot of guys, and I'm like, hey, get out of bed, get out of bed, get out of bed, get it in, get it over with, move on. Yeah. So for me, it's like I'm telling all these guys that, shit, I'm a fraud. Like, no, you need to get your shit out of bed. So today, of course, we got back on the routine, but I had to spot check myself. It's like, no, you're not really doing what you say that you're supposed to be doing. What's that look like in your life?
I think, playing professional lacrosse, my life was kind of revolving around that. Like every day, my routine was just like, especially when I was living in Baltimore, another guy that kind of pushed me to get where if it wasn't for him, just Jay Dyer, one of my strength conditioning coaches. I mean, he was probably the main reason I played so long in this sport. But kind of like when it was getting towards the end of my career and when I knew it was the end, like I probably could have squeezed maybe another year or two out of my career, but it was kind of like I was in a good headspace where I was like, go out on your own terms. Like this is, I just knew mentally I was like, this is a good time to like walk away. I didn't want to like, never had any major injuries, never tore my ACLs or anything like that, thank God. But like, I didn't want something like that to happen, something catastrophic, like tear your Achilles and you walk away and then you can't come back and then it's like fuck. So I was in a good headspace leaving, but one of the things I had to check myself on was like I had retired and then like I worked out like such a psychopath for so long and I kind of it was over and then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take 3 months off. I'm not gonna do a goddamn thing for 3 months. I slept in, I drank heavily on the weekends. I ate a shit ton of food that I should have been eating, like French, like just, and I eat that stuff, from time to time, nothing wrong with it. But if you're not working out, you can like really, so I started like gain weight, lazy. I could just feel myself going down this bad path. It should have been probably like 2 weeks, do it for 2 weeks, not 3 months. But definitely like I had to check myself. I was like, dude, what are you doing? You're like drinking 4 days a week. You're like, you shouldn't be doing like, what are you doing? So I snapped out of that kind of quick. That was a good check. At the same time, I think it was healthy. Not to like, I wasn't like getting shit faced, but I was like, I'd have a beer or, I had like 5 beers with dinner or something like that, but I wasn't getting like shit faced, nothing like that. But it's something I never done. Like I didn't drink, I probably had a beer like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday with dinner or whatever, a glass of wine. And I never have done that before. Nothing wrong with that, but I've never done that before. And I kind of was getting in a bad habit of like doing that. So after those 3 months, wherever I got back in the gym, and then it was kind of like, this is what life was like before. So yeah, I think working out for me has always been like a kind of like a gut check thing or like hey, like once you're disciplined in the weight room, you have a workout schedule every day. That's one thing that can be constant. I obviously work and stuff like that. So super crazy shit comes up. We all have our problems, our issues. I don't know why I'm still getting phone calls here. We all have our issues, but like I think working out and being in the gym's been the one constant thing in my life where like all my problems are gone there. Lacrosse field, all my problems are gone there. When that whistle blows, I'm not worried about what's going on at work, what's going on at home. Like for that 2 hours or whatever, like I'm locked in and kind of set you straight a little bit. So I kind of got away from that. So that would probably be the one thing where I had to check in with myself and be like, hey, what the hell are you doing here? Because for 16 years, I've never had a weekend to myself. I've never had summer. Like I still haven't had, so 17 years coaching last year. I still have not had a weekend in the summer for 17 years. I've never had a weekend in the summer. Not a big thing. I'd rather be playing lacrosse and do what I'm doing, but I don't know what it looks like going to a wedding in the summer or like enjoying myself, or not that I wasn't enjoying myself playing lacrosse, but I kind of just, did that for 3 months and I didn't really like it and kind of got out of it. But yeah, I think every athlete, once you work out, you're doing that for so long and such a ridiculous schedule. I mean, the workouts are so difficult that I'm in my program, the 300-yard shuttles I do every week, like it's a lot. Like even when I was in the best shape, like getting up at 6 a.m. and like, God, I got to go run 3 sub 50-second 300-yard shuttles, 50-yard or 25-yard increments. Like I don't want to go do that shit, but like I went and did it. I do it every once in a while now, but I'm not doing it like I used to. But I think taking that time off was like kind of like I got away from what I love doing so much, and kind of be like, hey man, like you got to like slow down here. You're drinking too much or eating too much food. You're gaining a little bit of weight. So I snapped out of it. But yeah, that was one of those gut check times for sure.
To me, it sounds like you were trying to make up for a little bit of lost time.
Probably, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would 100% agree with you, 100%. And I think that's probably 100% true. And then another thing I've been battling with is like, I've been doing lacrosse my whole life, and that now I'm like flirting around with going to do something else, starting a company or working for someone or doing that. So I'm kind of like, me and my wife had a conversation this morning that was like kind of, she was pretty much just like, just fucking do it, like go for it. So I think that was another gut check time, is like talking to her this morning, which was crazy. You asked that question. That was another one that reminded me. So I'd say those two were kind of like things I had to check in on myself, and like, it happens from time to time for sure.
How long have you been married for?
Since March. So pretty recently.
Oh, so like since breakfast.
Since breakfast, pretty much. Yeah. And I just got back from my honeymoon in South Africa. So that was, yeah. So
Good for you.
yeah.
And you're what, 39?
39. I just turned 39 a week and a half ago.
Good for you.
Yeah, I don't want to
Yeah,
say
so
40.
yeah, I usually don't have guys beat on here, but I'll ask you anyway. How long did you guys date for?
We dated for 4 years.
Okay. So
Three,
what's the
3 years.
key to I got
3.
you. What's the key to a successful relationship?
Key to a successful relationship. Yeah, I think key to a successful relationship is openness and honesty is the biggest thing. And like this morning, having conversations like I had, not being scared to have those conversations with your wife, being super upfront, always making time for your significant other, whether that's going on dates, right? Don't get. I think a lot of people. I even did that before. It's kind of you get in a groove and you kind of just get in this pattern. But I think keeping the relationship exciting, dates. We went on a trip to South Africa. We've never. Both of us were kind of jumped all in on that when we'd never been to South Africa or on safari. She was on a safari when she was younger, when like 14 years old, but kind of just jumping into that. Just doing exciting stuff. I think keeping things exciting, being honest with each other are the two biggest things I think in keeping a strong, healthy relationship for sure.
Yeah, I agree. All very well said points. What I'll tell you, what I've noticed is you alluded to kind of getting into ruts and routines and stuff. I get home, I worked all day, wife worked all day, sit down to eat dinner. I'm scrolling through the television to try to find something to watch. We're sitting right next to each other. She goes, "Hey, can we talk about something real quick?" I'm like, "Fuck, yes, of course." I had to pause that shit. I had to pause that shit, right? It's
Let the
just you
Ravens
get
pick
into
up.
that you just get into that routine. Like I'm more worried about what the hell we're gonna watch while we're eating. When she's like, "Hey, can we talk about something?" I'm like, "Ugh, "Of course we can."
Yeah,
Like I'm a piece of shit right now. Yes, I we should definitely be talking. Haven't seen each other all day. Haven't talked all day, and I'm looking on Netflix for the next show. It's like, bro, come on, what are we
yeah.
doing? So, you know what I mean? It's like,
Get a lot of
but
people. I
it,
mean, I think as I've gotten older, past relationships, I didn't do that. I kind of we just let shit fester because you're not mature. It kind of leads to a lot of problems. So, but to your point, like her saying that, or me and my wife have the same thing. Like she'll if something's bothering her, she's gonna mention it. And if something's bothering me, I'm gonna mention it. And I think that's good. You get your problems out on the table, get it over with, move on. Yeah, that's huge.
yeah. And I don't have it all figured out. Shoot, I've only been married 3 years. Between the two of us, we got 3.5 years on the table, so we
Yeah,
aren't the guys probably to ask about marriage advice. But I'm always curious. I'm always trying to learn from these guys. Usually, some of these guys 20, 30 years, and it's like, okay, yeah, let's listen to what these guys have to say. So,
yeah.
um, always learning. How old's your wife, if you're allowed to say? That was probably a
My
bad question.
my
Bad
wife,
podcasting.
she is 33 years old. Yeah.
You're doing it right. Good
Yeah.
on you.
Yep.
That a boy.
Yeah.
That a boy. Cool. Do you guys want to have kids?
Yes, we do want to have kids. Probably. I mean, I'm getting old, man. We gotta start soon.
Well, better you than her, though.
Yeah, for sure, for sure, absolutely.
I,
Yeah, I
I
think
get asked that
that's
question.
on our radar for sure.
I get asked that question a lot. It's like, when are you gonna have kids? And I'm like, well, soon. Like we know what to do. We
Yeah,
we we know what it takes.
yeah.
Leave us alone.
Not rocket science.
Yeah, yeah. We know what to do. Leave us alone. Thank you. So, lacrosse that's a fall sport, right?
No, lacrosse is a spring sport. So college lacrosse is a spring sport, and then college, high school, the pro games in the summer. So pro game starts Memorial Day
Okay.
weekends when we kick off in May, and then we go all the way to middle of September. So, yeah, pro games a summer sport, indoor, professional indoor. The NLL, that's like hockey. We play in the hockey rinks. You're allowed to fight. It's hockey without skates. That season goes from November to May. So that's a winter. That's a winter sport. I played in that league for 6 years. I played in pro league. So summer, you play all summer. You get a month off, and you play. You pretty much play year round professional lacrosse. So I did every. I didn't have a weekend in the summer or winter for 6, 7 years. So that was, and then I walked away from indoor lacrosse because it takes a toll on your body. So Kit played pro indoor as well, but indoor is fun. It's like you're allowed to fight, super physical. Yeah, that's a someone asked me that question. Like, do you like? I grew up playing outdoor. Like, do you like outdoor, indoor better? And I kind of gravitate towards indoor a little bit more because it was just so much more exciting and physical. And yeah, so
Yeah, I think I would gravitate towards that too. I mentioned the hockey reference because when playing hockey, you can get away with so much bullshit.
Yeah.
like just chippy and not necessarily cheap shots, but we'll call it what it is, like cheap shots, like stuff like that, just shit talking. I love that aspect of the game because there's only so many refs and they can only be so many places and have so many eyes at one given time. So indoor to me seems like it would be a real good time.
Yeah, indoor you get away with a lot more shit in indoor. A lot more like
Yeah.
grabbing of the jerseys and shit like that. Chippiness, cross checking guys,
Yep.
fighting. Like it's an awesome sport.
Can you talk to me a little bit about your friend group, what that looks like, the type of people that you keep in your circle and that you learn from?
Yeah, I don't have. I would say I have a lot of friends kind of in different places. Next week super special. We go to Hawaii every year. I've been going to Hawaii for shit 16 years now. So we have a special friend group that goes out there. We play for charities. So we have an elite team, which is kind of all the professional lacrosse players. We have a masters team that's 30 and over. Grand masters is like 40 and over. Legends is maybe 50 and over. So we have 4 teams that we take out. Matt Sorey, he owns a company called Wimmer Solutions. Super successful guy, but loves giving back, and he gives to various charities. One of his charities he runs or he funds and helps out with is Project Kenny. One of their good friends died in Iraq. Left his job at one of the guys, Kevin Mincio, left his job at Goldman Sachs. He was making a shit ton of money when the towers were hit. One of their buddies died, and then that foundation trains dogs for people who they pretty much train dogs for like if disabled people, veterans that can't pick up if they drop their keys in their wheelchair, can't pick up the dog will pick those up. They'll train the dog specifically for that person. So that's what that foundation focuses on. But we've been going out there every year. We have a huge dinner that we announce the charities we're playing for, and then we usually, I think the last 10 years we've won 4 championships every year. So 10 times 4, 40. We've won a lot of championships out there. But it's just like it's a super fun weekend. We do a lot of stuff we do a free kids clinic for the kids on Hawaii and on the island, and we give out sticks and stuff like that. So that would probably be one of my very special friend groups. Is we call it the Wimmer group, Wimmer. Got all kind of different guys from different walks of life. Like I said, there's young guys we bring into the fold, kind of groom them, not groom them, but like get them ready for that. It takes a special guy to make that trip and kind of be consistent going through it, because we've had a lot of guys come and go via, if it's a character issue, whatever it is, those are pretty weeded out pretty quickly. So I'd say that's a very special friend group. My hunting group is very special. I've been hunting with Kip the last 4 years out in New Mexico. This past year I did not hunt with him because he has Alaska endeavor, the Bushwhack Alaska. And I'm sure we're going to get back out there next year on the Unit 15 out in New Mexico. But I'd say my hunting group is near and dear to my heart. Here in Texas, I got a lot of guys here I hunt with, and we have deer camp in South Texas that we do a lot. And I got a lot of friends here that I hunt with. So I would say my hunting group, that Wimmer, the lacrosse group that I have, and then just a lot of the professional lacrosse players and guys I've met over the years. I've met so many different people over the years from playing lacrosse. I've met like just people I would not have met ever in my life. I'd say my trainers here in Austin, I have a really good friend group here in Austin. So I would say the hunting, if I had to pick 3, it'd be like my hunting community. My Hawaii group that I go to Hawaii with every year. We have a group chat. That group chat is nonstop every single day for the last 16 years. Like literally just bullshit. People making fun of each other. Hunting group for sure, because obviously hunting is probably it's my number one hobby and the thing I want to do the most, nonstop, building points in every freaking state there is, and just making sure I always have hunting opportunities every year. So hunting for me, just, I get to hit the reset button. I was so burnt out from lacrosse this year. I had a 13-day elk hunt slated. It took 10 days, but when I come back from that, man, I'm just like completely reset and ready to rock when I come home. So I think my hunting group, all the guys I hunt with and stay in touch with in that realm, and then just my friend group here in Austin, and just my lacrosse group of friends that I have and have met guys over the years. We're always staying in contact. So hard once you get to you start having a family and everybody's getting married, you kind of not grow apart, but like it's hard to stay in touch with all these people. So I'd say my friend group has gotten smaller over the years from just people that everybody, we don't have all the time in the world. So I don't want to waste my time doing things I don't want to do. Um, so guys that want to go like to Miami and drink all weekend, that's fun. It's a great time, but I don't want to do that anymore. So like I'd rather go to an elk hunt or something like that. So kind of just surrounding myself with people like that and guys I want to be around and guys that work their asses off. I don't want to be around lazy people. I don't have any lazy. I would say not one of my friends is a lazy person. Every one of them either gym rats or they're busting their ass starting companies, and just very, very successful businessmen. So I think just if you surround yourself with people like that, you're gonna pretty much fall into that mold. If you're hanging out with people that are doing drugs all weekend, I mean, it's gonna, you're gonna be that. So it's, I think that's super important.
That was my next question. What traits or characteristics do all these guys that you're hanging out with possess?
Every single one of them are great teammates. Even from like the hunting. I know hunting. You can look at hunting as like, if you're bow hunting, if you're by yourself, but guys in the same camp. I think everybody in that camp, like, you hit them on the GPS and they're like, "Hey, I killed an elk." You like stop what you're doing and just go to where he needs help, and they're cutting the elk up. You help him carry it out. I'd say I have every single one of those guys. Not one guy is selfish. I'd say the selflessness thing that I touched on, that's huge in the hunting community and the guys that I hang out with. And then, that Wimmer group, all the guys that are out there, donating money, donating their time to do stuff that they're, giving back to the community. Care creates community is the slogan Matt uses, and it's so damn true. Like if you care about each other and you're being selflessness and helping each other out, it's just gonna make everything better. So I would say every single one of those guys in my friend group, great teammates, selfless, and just hardworking and disciplined. The things I've kind of already hit on that.
I think it's interesting that you surround yourself with people like that in a friend aspect of things, but you're also looking to coach those same type of people as well with all of those characteristics. So there's a common theme here.
Yeah. I mean, the kids here are so damn smart. They're all like going to work for NASA or like, we have so many bright kids here. It's crazy how smart they are. Some of the shit that they're doing, I don't even know what the hell it is. Like, yeah, I'm doing, we had a kid this year just like working for an airline doing like the mechanical engineering, and he's trying to explain it to me. I'm like, I have no clue what you're talking about. So we have some really bright kids here at Texas. So guys are going to make a difference in the world. So
Yeah, we need more people like that.
yes, we do.
Can you talk to me a little bit about your company with coaching the youth?
Yeah. So I started out. It was called Defensive Academy. Kind of like my position is I play defense, and I just kind of, my first year out of college, I got drafted to play pro and wasn't making much money. I think I want to say max salary was $16,000 at that point. So you kind of had to do something. Had a construction job. I worked for the Maryland Environmental Service, driving a bulldozer and a water truck. And then I kind of knew I wanted to play lacrosse full time. I moved to my beach town Maryland, Ocean City, Maryland. I spent a lot of time. Salisbury University is 30 minutes from Ocean City, Maryland. I lived down in Ocean City, Maryland for 2 years as a bouncer, barback. Made really good money doing that. And I kind of was like, I want to play lacrosse full time. I want to be the best player in the league. And I kind of just stopped doing that shit and just started a company. The first one we did like club teams and stuff. It was called Rogue Lacrosse. My buddy Josh Porcell. And then after we kind of started that got off the ground. I kind of moved off on my own, just training kids. Like I just did camps and clinics around the country. Pretty much just getting field space and wherever it is. I travel around a lot. I got February. I go to Louisville, Kentucky. I got a 2-day clinic there. I have Austin, Texas here right before Thanksgiving. We do a big one. And then Park City, Utah, I have one in December. So like pretty much every month I'm dropping into a city to do that stuff. You pretty much just drop in 2 hours on a Saturday or 2 hours on a Sunday. Some are 1 day, some are 2 day. I have summer overnight camps. So I do a summer overnight camp in Daytona Beach, Florida. It's Monday through Thursday, 6 hours a day each day. Kids stay overnight. So yeah, I'm just I want to pass on what I've learned from all the coaches that have coached me, because the stuff that I teach it's not my stuff. It's stuff that I've learned over the years. I have tweaked and made drills of my own. But a lot of the stuff that I've been teaching these kids is stuff that I've learned from all the coaches. I've had some of the best coaches in the world coach me, and I've been blessed in that. And I've got to learn from them, and I've got to pass that on to these younger kids. So my goal is just kind of coach these kids and mentor them, not to be just great lacrosse players, but just to be great character people and good people. So when they leave that camp, maybe something as simple as saying, like, something big for us is like yes sir, no sir, and thanking your parents. Like, make sure you go thank your parents when the clinic's done, and all the kids go thank their parents. And I think so, like, just little shit like that is going to make those kids even better, just by saying yes sir or no sir. Is definitely going to go a long way in that. And that's not all we're teaching, but like just being good teammates, being good human beings. If you see a piece of trash, pick it up. Even though it's not yours, I make our kids do it. We go to tournaments and stuff, and there's just you'll be shocked at like some of these sidelines. Like, you're the next game in, those kids leave that sideline, there is just shit everywhere. And I'm like, I don't even warm them up. I'm like, everybody just go pick up every single piece of trash on the sideline. Like, some kids are like, why are we doing that? For the first kids, they're like, why are we doing this? I'm like, just do it. Like, and then they don't. And then when they're walking around, when they have a job, when they're 30 years old, they're gonna see a piece of trash on the ground, they're just gonna pick it up. So it's stuff like that. Just molding kids, and I love coaching the youth, and it's so awesome to see, because I usually drop back into the cities quarterly. I try to hit every city quarterly and just keep that rotation. But once these kids just grow up, some of them, like, you'll go there for 5 years and you won't even notice the kid. When I coached in Baltimore, I had a guy, kid Matt Reese, a very good player, went to Naval Academy, and I actually got to play 2 years with him professionally, which was kind of crazy because it was like it had come full circle. I coached him as a youth player, and I was at the end of my career. He was just pretty much starting his, and it was like crazy. You coached me in high school, and now we're playing together. It's like just shit like that. It just comes full circle, and you made an impact on those kids, and it's just super rewarding for me.
Good on you. Yeah, there's something about playing that mentorship role that I personally really enjoy, and it sounds like you do too.
Yep. Yeah, especially here at Texas. I mean, this is considered MCLA. It's not a NCAA Division One. MCLA is so you got NCAA Division One, NCAA Division Two, NCAA Division Three, and then there's the MCLA. MCLA they're not sanctioned Division One sports, but we treat it as a Division One club here at Texas, because Texas sports are super serious. A lot of them win national championships, and the shit we've done here in the last 4 years is a testament to that. But yeah, man, these kids, I love coaching them, and then just like being with them, hanging out with them in the spring, and just teaching them little lessons like that, because I think it goes a long way for sure.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. How is Texas lacrosse not considered Division One? That makes no sense to me.
So you have Title IX was one of them. They just became Title IX compliant. The football team pretty much paid a fine every year. So they just added, I want to say it's women's beach volleyball. So now they're in Title IX compliance. So our goal is to take it D1. It's so far down the road, just because like schools don't want to take on another Division One sport. Here we pretty much got to raise around $33 million if we want to do it. And we have a board formed with affluent alumni. We have business guys on that board that are, putting the pieces together to do that. But it's like a 10-year. Our plan's like a 10-year plan. But we're just trying to make this. We have our own lacrosse field. We have really good donors here, and our goal here is to just make this a national championship program. And we got close to that goal last year, but yeah, we went from being unranked to being top 20, and we were number 2 in the country last year and lost in the quarterfinals. But yeah, we're doing all the right things here. We're just trying to make this a championship program. And I think once you do that, selling it as a Division One program's a little bit easier. And the SEC, we're in the SEC now. There's no lacrosse in the SEC. Lacrosse is growing at such a rapid rate. The sell point is like be the first to do it, and more will come on that. So it'd be cool to have lacrosse at Alabama or the University of Texas. SEC lacrosse would be freaking sick. Be so cool.
Oh my gosh, yes. Hell yeah. Without question. Yeah, I was curious because I was on your page and I saw like a video of you guys playing Texas A&M and everything. They're not D1 either. There's no SEC is not D1 then in lacrosse.
Every team we play is MCAA. We do scrimmage next weekend. We scrimmage a Division III team here. And then we're actually playing a Division III team in season. So I'm trying to put official college teams in there because we do beat them quite a bit. And it's like, hey, like we're pretty much a college team. We're just not considered one. So
And I'm not even sure it really matters from a recruit standpoint. It's like, shit, I'm going to Texas to play lacrosse. Let's go.
yeah, and
Like,
we get
I don't care who we play or what the title is. Like, I'm going to Texas and we're playing a freaking sport. That's sick.
yeah, we get a lot of those kids, man. We had a documentary we put out. I don't know if you saw that on the page. There's a
I
documentary we
did.
released. It's super good. Since that documentary, we've gotten so many freaking kids that are Division 1. You know, we had a kid that emailed me pretty much. It was like last week. He's a nationally ranked attackman, and he's coming. He wants to come here. He's applying here. He doesn't want to go play at Johns Hopkins or any of these big Division 1 schools. He wants to play lacrosse at Texas. One of the biggest selling points for us is like the Texas football. They're #1 in the country. I think they're
Yeah,
slated
campus has got to be buzzing, man.
crazy, man. Like I can't even, I hate saying this, but like I think they're the next Alabama for sure with the recruits they're getting on camp. Like Sarkeesian's done such a good job, but that's a huge selling point. A lot of these kids are sports fans, and I could not have imagined coming here and going to football games. Like I'm going to the Georgia game this weekend. They play #5 Georgia Saturday night, 6:30. I got tickets. I'm going to that. So I usually go
You
to
got
like
an extra one? I'll
yeah,
fly down, brother. I'm a diehard Georgia fan. You
Oh, are you?
what you'll notice about me is I'm all over the place with teams. I just like when I was young, I would get hooked on a team, and I would like no fair weather shit. I would stay on them, and Georgia was one of those teams in like second grade. I've
Yeah.
been to Athens a bunch, and yeah,
It'd be a good game. I mean, I know Georgia's they're a great team, and they're gonna want to make a statement coming here to Texas. It's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be an awesome environment. I can't wait. It's gonna be awesome.
yeah, without question. All right, man. So mindset is a huge thing, and to me, I feel like some people have it, some people don't. Can you acquire it? Maybe over time. But you, at the beginning of the pod, were like, hey, if I'm doing this, I want to be the best. I don't just want to be a random lacrosse player. Like, I want to be one of the best. And by the sounds of it, you're one of the best defensemen to ever play the game of lacrosse. Where did that come from? Why? Were you raised like that? I know you mentioned your spec ops buddy, where you took a lot of his work ethic and applied that to your own game. But where did that mindset go? Why not just be one of the guys? Where did that come from?
Yeah, I mean, definitely probably started with him, and then I just my dad pushed me to be like one of the best, and him getting me into athletics and not being mediocre was something that I never wanted to be. That'd be I don't know what man one thing that would probably have done that. I think just when I got a lacrosse stick in my hand in high school, this is something I was like, I want to play this in college. And when I started researching like college lacrosse and watching guys play on TV, I was like, holy shit, this sport's awesome. So I knew that was a long road, and it wasn't going to be easy because I was so far behind via starting in ninth grade. So yeah, I don't know. I would say definitely my buddy Dan for sure. That's where my work ethic was instilled. And like when I run with him, I'm like, holy shit, this is not easy. And if you want to be the best, it's not easy. Like you got to be not a psycho, but like you got to want to do the extra shit. Like you have practice during the day, and then I was in the weight room after that. I was running in the morning before practice. I was just always doing extra shit because if my mindset was like if I'm doing more than someone else, like I know this guy he's going to practice, he's doing this, but he ain't in the weight room until midnight, or he's not waking up at 5 a.m. running. He's not playing wall ball. He's going out and partying. I'm not going out and like shit like that. I was always trying to like that mentality of like doing extra and doing shit when people weren't doing shit. I just knew that was going to set me apart. And I was like, when I got to the pro game, like even in college, like I didn't play my first year. And then when I came back my second year, like I didn't play that much. So I was like, this is, I don't want to be on the bench anymore. So I went and just worked. I literally just put my head down every freaking day, just worked my ass off, and then I came back, was named a captain, starter, and All American like that next year. And once I think that was the moment where I was like, okay, like if you just work your ass off, like the results are gonna come. And like Division 3 players aren't really. There's not a lot of pro Division 3 players right now. There's uh, might be one. Might be one. When I was there, it was two. But consistently playing, there was maybe one. I was probably the most consistent through my career. But when you're a Division 3 player, you are super behind the eight ball. You got Division 1 All American, like the best players in the world coming in from Division 1. So you're right off the rip. You're already looking. You're on the outside looking in. And I knew that, and I just like worked my ass off that off season for the pro game. And then once I got in and started, you kind of have a small window there too. Like if you go in and fuck up and don't perform, you're pretty much done. So that pressure of that, and just I was at ease because I just know that no one on the field had put in the work that I put in, and I was just at ease with that. And then kind of as the pro game went on, it's just like professional sports. I'm like, I'm going to be the best fucking athlete on the field, and I know how to do that. Like I had a testament to all my trainers. I always had a trainer. Every single year I've had a trainer. Jay Dyer was my first one in Baltimore. He's the head strength and conditioning coach at Johns Hopkins University, and then also the head strength and conditioning coach for men's and women's Team USA. So having him, I mean, some of his workouts were so demoralizing, and like, you know, they were just weren't easy. You'd wake up in the morning and like it's 5 a.m. I'm like driving to his gym and I'm like, God damn it, I hope we don't do. We call this one workout like double shots. It was this fucking hill, but he wouldn't tell you what you were doing. You never could ask. Like the workout's going on, we always have something horrible at the end. I'm like, please don't do double shots. Like, yeah, we're doing double shots. I'm like, fuck. Like guys would like pass out. Like we'd have to like drive cars up to pick them up. That's how like intense the workouts were. But just shit like that. Like I suffered so much in those workouts. Like you get on the field, I never felt anywhere close to that bad. Like it was just like so easy. I'm like, I'm not tired. It's like, oh, if I continue to do this, I'll be one of the best. And I'm also just, you'll never get tired because you can see when guys get tired on the field, like their body language and shit like that. And you can see it, guys starting to break down or stuff like that. So that was another goal of mine, is like, I never wanted to show weakness, and not showing weakness is just being, in peak performance. And that was a huge thing of mine, is just, working my ass off to just be the best, be the fittest guy on the field, and just never have any fucking doubt that someone's going to outrun me or outwork me. It was just never a doubt. So that mindset was just, the kill or be killed mindset was something that was instilled in me probably by definitely my buddy. It's in Spec Ops. And then, just the trainers I've had, the trainers that have pushed me along the way, even like Tim Riley here. When I moved to Austin, first thing I do, I'm start Googling trainers, looking shit up. And I find, this gym, NFL athletes are working there. I'm like, NFL athletes ain't working anywhere else. I'm going to this gym. Went in there, kind of like figured it out. Like, okay, he's the trainer. Walked up to like, hey, I played professionally. Like, what the fuck's professional lacrosse? Never heard of that. Okay, jump into these workouts. And like some of the workouts, I beat some of the NFL guys in like push-up contests and shit. And they're like, okay, this guy's like legit. And then so I started working out with them. And that kind of made me, just shit like that. Like I want to go where the best athletes are, and put myself against them. Now at the end of the day, was I better than them? Hell no. Jamar Chase hang cleaning 315 pounds like 6 times. Like no, I can't do that. But like push up competitions and like sprints, I can compete with some of those guys there. But like I just wanted, you surround yourself with those people. If I went to a gym with like a bunch of kids that are like in high school, like what's that going to look like? I don't know. But just knowing you're going to compete against NFL athletes, especially with my trainer here, it's like you got to show up, and you can't like half-ass it, like because you'll get singled out pretty goddamn quick. So I think just that's how I approach those workouts throughout my career, and just surrounded myself with guys that were animals in the gym, like Paul Rabel, who is regarded as one of the best lacrosse players of all time, who had started the PLL, the Premier Lacrosse League. I worked out with him a lot through my career, so working out with guys like that were, having a guy you can work out with, push you every day, and know he's going to try to kick your ass every day, and you got to show up because you want to kick his ass. It's just like, I mean, it's worth its weight in gold. It's I can't stress on that enough.
Yeah, if you show up to that gym and you're the best athlete in that thing and you're kicking everybody's ass, you're in the wrong gym, brother.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
For sure.
Unless you're Jamar Chase, like Chase, would you say Chase Young, right?
No, Jamar Chase for the Bengals, wide receiver for the Bengals.
Oh, Jamar Chase. Okay, I don't know why when you said Jamar, I was thinking of Chase.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, unless you're him, like there's not many other gyms that you can go to, right?
No, not at all. So that definitely helped for sure.
And I'm sure that you've taken this mindset and applied it to other aspects of your life. That's what's so great about sport. Right now, you're probably, okay, I want to be the best coach that I can be. I don't want to just be a coach. I want to be the best coach I can be. Okay, now I'm married. I don't want to just be, a husband. I want to be the best husband I can be. You're going to have kids, etc. Right?
Yep. Yeah, I think that all translates, right? It's going to go into everything that I do probably from here on out. Like hunting, I want to be the best hunter that I can possibly be. And I mean, 10-day elk hunt really tested me a little bit, but definitely had some ups and downs. But like once you succeed in that, you're like, holy shit, like this is possible, and like then you can keep doing it. But yeah, for sure, I think it's going to apply to everything I do in life. There's not going to be one time where I just want to be mediocre and like, when I got here at Texas, I want to be the best coach. They haven't won a conference championship in 10 years. We're back-to-back champions. We're going to go for a third one this year, and they've never won a they never won a national tournament game ever in the 50-year history of the program. We got that done last year. So like we're always hitting goals every year, and we're going to keep going. We're undefeated last year in regular season, and that's never been done here. So like we're doing a lot of stuff the right way, and I think it's just, work ethic rubs off on people, and I think I'm doing a good job of that here. So
Yeah, sounds like it, man. Keep it up. Where can people follow you on your journey along with the team and your businesses and things of that nature?
yeah, so college lacrosse for here at UT is at UT, yeah, at UT Lacrosse is the Instagram handle. My handle is at K Hartzell 81. My nonprofit at Apex Project USA. We take veterans on hunting trips and stuff, so that's another one I'm busy on as well. So, and then at System 81 is my.
Really cool. Last thing, man, you kind of got a feel for the show, how I like to operate over here. Give me three people that you feel like would be a good fit for the podcast. My man. Yeah, yeah. Well, maybe not the active one. I don't know how much they can say. My man, this was what's that? You already know I do. That's why I asked. Hell yeah. Let's set it up. I appreciate you, man. Listen, I'm gonna cut this off. Stay on just so we get your file uploaded. And it was a pleasure, man. Thank you for coming on. Seriously.